Hi, everyone. Let me say hi to everybody really quick before we start. Hi, Seb. Hi, Sen. Hi, Ash. Hi, Cass. Hi, Shield. So good to see you guys. Hello, everybody. All the lookers. So good to see everyone. Where's the scene? I hope everyone's liking the spooky vibes that I've got going on. I hope everyone likes it. I'm gonna check in, see if the gang's ready, and we're gonna get started. You love it? Thank you, Seb. Thank you. I love it too. I love it so much. It looks so cute. Please also, before we start book club, hold on. There it is. Please also know before we start book club, all of the trigger warnings. If any of those bother you, please just feel free to scoot on out. We don't blame you. It's totally fine. And yeah, I'm excited. Let me bring the gang in really quick.
Like
Hello.
fishing and hi.
Hello.
Everyone can hear you, just so you know.
Oh, okay.
Hello.
We were just talking about how bad Ashley is at fishing.
Hi, Alice.
I'm actually great at fishing.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh.
I caught last time. I caught a
Holy
whale
mackerel.
and
Hold on, let's see the leaderboard. Let's see. Hold on.
oh yes, I would like to see.
Okay, let's
It's
look at
probably
the leaderboard.
Ashley.
I really hope so.
Let's see. Ashley is in fourth place. Fourth place.
What?
Yeah.
Who's at the top?
Wow.
Kay is at the top. Kay's at the top of the board right now.
I'm
You do
at
have the top
I'm not
catch,
even
though.
I'm
have the
not
top-
even
See?
on the
See?
board.
Nope.
Ashley's in 3rd and 5th place because she's fishing on both of her accounts.
Yes.
Oh my god, that's so fucking funny.
I have to be number 1.
Okay. Should we introduce ourselves?
Sure.
Besides Master Fisherman? Because clearly that's actually their actual names.
Yes.
Hello, everybody. My name is Kiele or Kiele or Stress Lemon Zest or Lemon, whatever you want to call me, as fine. My pronouns are they, she, and I am your host today of the non-spoiler section. You want to go first? Second.
Cassidy. or Cass. She, her. And yeah, I'm here for a good time.
Good time.
Damn. Yep. I'm
You're-
Ash. Oh.
I was just gonna say, Cassie. This is also Cassidy's book today, so
Oh,
Cass
yes.
is hosting
Yes.
the spoiler section.
I'm in charge.
And last but not least,
Ashley. She, her. Also here for a good time. Yep.
perfect, beautiful, beautiful. This is the non-spoiler section of our book club. So if you haven't read the book, The Monsters of Templeton by Lauren Groff, this is the part where you can chill. This is the part where you can hang out with us and not get spoiled. So what we like to do is we just like to say our star rating, what our overall thoughts are, our non-spoilery thoughts, what would we recommend this book, and all that jazz. Sev says, why do you have a gold star? Do you want to explain?
So I have a gold star. So as we know, book club happens monthly, but we didn't do one in August when we were going to do the Monsters of Templeton, and now it's September. So Cassidy has a gold star because she finished the book on time.
Yes.
Yes.
And by on time, Cass means before today.
Yes. Which me and Kelly finished it an hour before this podcast.
I finished it well before today. Thank you very much.
Yep. Cass, well, since you're talking, do you want to go first with your overall thoughts, feelings?
Overall thoughts and feelings. I mean, do we want to give like a rundown on the book, or just
Yeah, you know what? How about
raw dog for thoughts and feelings?
Raw dog. Oh my god.
Did you know that actually the term raw dog is used more frequently out of that context than in? Just think about it. Think about it. How many times have you heard that stated, and how many times is it not within its original context?
I guess you're right.
Give me 2 gold stars.
Okay, yeah, I'll do a quick little overview here. Hold on. Oh, that's the wrong thing. Excuse me. So sorry. I'm a professional. Okay, here we go. Monsters of Templeton by Lauren Groff.
Oh, wow.
She's got her radio voice on.
Listen.
Sirius XM on the next page.
On the next
yeah,
page.
We're on the same page. On the same page.
Like, are we changing the name of our podcast? Our podcast our name of our podcast completely changed. I feel like we barely remember to say the name anyway.
Oh no.
Alice says, I love that the star still has a white box around it. Listen, Alice, I couldn't take the background out in 0.5 seconds, okay? All right?
Only the best here.
Okay, here we go. Serious time. The Monsters of Templeton by Lauren Groff. The day I returned to Templeton steeped in disgrace, the 50-foot corpse of a monster surfaced in Lake Limmerglass. So begins The Monster of Templeton, a novel spanning 2 centuries, part a contemporary story of a girl's search for her father, part historical novel and part ghost story. In the wake of a disastrous love affair with her older, married archaeology professor at Stanford, brilliant Wilhelmina Cooper arrives back at the doorstep of her... I feel like that's the wrong name there.
Well,
anyway.
It's not... No, it's Upton.
Yeah, I was like, that's the wrong name. Hold on. Excuse me. This is supposed to be the overview. Anyway, Wilhelmina Upton, Sunshine Upton, to be exact, arrives back at the doorstep of her hippie mother turned born-again Christian's house in Templeton, New York, a storybook town her ancestors founded that sits on the shore of Lake Limmerglass. Upon her arrival, a prehistoric monster surfaces in the lake, bringing a feeding frenzy to the quiet town. And Willie learns she has a mystery father her mother kept secret Willie's entire life. The beautiful, broody Willie is told that the key to her biological father's identity lies somewhere in her family's history. So she buries herself in the research of her twisted family tree and finds more than she bargained for as a chorus of voices from the town's past. Some sinister, all fascinating, rise up around her to tell their side of the story, In the end, dark secrets come to light, past and present day are blurred, and old mysteries are finally put to rest. The Monsters of Templeton is a fresh, virtuoso performance that has placed Lauren Groff among the best writers of today. So says Goodreads.
Whoa.
Wow.
Virtuose.
Virtuous.
Wow.
So that's the rundown. I feel like we also need to get better at doing rundowns. I feel like we just hop into it.
We do, and then it's like, hang on, you need some context on what I just said.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so now we have got the context. We've got the context now.
Sweet.
Okay. Now, Cass, your time to shine. Tell us your thoughts. Your non-spoiler thoughts.
My non-spoiler?
Yes.
I enjoyed it. Lauren Groff is one of my favorite authors. She writes a lot of fantasy style books. And I just really, each of them are very unique in tone, but she just tells these very unique, intricate stories that I like. But this one was really fun. I really liked how deep the history went with it. And Lauren Groff actually based it on her small hometown in New York, which I think is fun. You can get a lot of like ideas of what she's like as a person through the way that she talks about this town that she's basing off of her childhood. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a neat story with a fun twist. It was like one of those fictional stories where it's like enough fantasy in there that you're like, okay, I'm not worried about how realistic or unrealistic this is, and you're just able to appreciate the story. Yeah.
Would you recommend this book?
I would recommend this book. Yes.
Okay. And what's your star rating?
Star rating.
Out of 5 stars.
Out of 5. I'm gonna give it a 3.8.
Okay. That's solid. That's solid.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Ash, do you want to go next?
Sure. I liked it too. I felt like there were some slow parts. I think I had some trouble when it would kind of get to like when we were talking. Oh, I don't know if this is a spoiler, so maybe we'll talk about it later. But there were some slow parts for me, and then like, but it wasn't like I didn't want to put it down. You know what I mean? It was just kind of like, hey, can you get through this part? But but then towards like middle end, I really enjoyed it a lot. But yeah, I think my rating, my spoiler section rating, because I always change my rating after I talk to y'all, is a 3.5.
Okay.
Yes, I would also recommend this book. I felt like it's a good, like, I don't know. It's like I don't want to say like a drama, but it's like, what am I trying to say? My mind is like going into a blank.
It is.
Yeah, this is definitely a drama.
It is drama. It is like family.
Yeah, it's like, and I like how it's like sorry.
Oh no, yeah, no, you're good.
I was gonna say, and it's like I also like the mystery aspect of it too, and there's like kind of like how they all tie together too. I like that a lot.
Yeah, it was very well paced.
Yeah, that's what kind of got me through some of the slow parts. I was like, I don't understand this right now, but I know I will later on.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna sit with this. This will be interesting to me later, and it was. And so then so there were some parts where I'm like, what are we doing? And then I was like, oh, that's what we were doing.
Yeah.
Trust the process kind of book.
Yes.
Okay, I guess it's my turn. So I really liked this book. I definitely did. I wasn't sure how I was gonna feel about it because I think I was burned from our last 2 perspective book that we had, that I was a little nervous. Even though I ended up loving that book, I was a little nervous like reading it. I was like, oh man, another 2 perspective. Like, am I gonna be stupid and not understand what the fuck this is?
So many perspectives.
There's so many.
Yes.
There's a lot of perspectives. I guess what I mean by 2 perspective is like past and future and present, because it goes between like the other book, and I was like, frick, I'm gonna do so bad. But it actually was great. Her voice was super easy to follow. Like Groff's like whole writing style was super easy, even when there's like some old English parts. I still felt like I could read it, and I didn't feel like I had to like look anything up. Like I could tell from like context clues. And the way she writes is like, definitely you can tell that she trusts her readers to be competent, which I really appreciate. It's like, hey, I know that you're going to know and you're going to read into this. And even though you might not understand this, you're going to understand this or get it from a context clue later on. So I like that. Yeah. And I would recommend this book. I would say I recommend this book, but also to look up some trigger warnings for this book, and also
Yes.
Yes. And also, this book does involve a lot of this book came out in 2008, and it is set in a time period where it is in like the late 80s, 90s. And you can tell by certain words that they say that we do not say now.
Yeah.
Just so everyone knows. There's a lot of that in this book. So if that bothers you, then don't read it. But I was able to be like, all right, this was in 2008. It makes sense. Not set in this time period, whatever. But I would recommend it. Yeah. And then my star rating is 4 stars.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Wow, 4 stars. And I think this was a great book to kick off spooky season.
I agree.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's very like mysterious and but not like too scary. It's not scary.
No.
It's supernatural, I'll say.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything else that anybody wants to say during our non-spoiler section? Is always so short. I feel so bad for everyone who. Anyway, is there anything anyone that you feel like you should say before we go into the spoiler section? Things that people might need to know before they read. Anything?
No.
I don't think
so. Kylie, I thought your initial hesitance with the book was going to be more based on the fact that it has a map.
Oh, no, I ignored that map. I didn't look at it not one time. I didn't.
There's a map?
Yeah. At the front there's a map.
I have the Kindle. Hold on. Let me see if my Kindle... Because my Kindle showed me all the other pictures. Hold on. Let me get it. I want to see this map.
Go find the map.
I didn't look at it. I actually forgot there was a map until just now.
That is so unfortunate.
Until you told me.
After every chapter, I looked at the map.
This is a map haters club.
That's a lie. I didn't do that. This is literally not a map haters club. You're the only one that hates map.
I did appreciate throughout the books she would put her family tree. I'm like, thank you.
Oh, yes. That was so helpful.
Thank you. Yes.
So freaking helpful.
So helpful.
Because it would introduce all these people, and I'm like, oh god. Even looking at the map, at the family map, sometimes I'm like, I can't understand this right now.
Oh yeah. I'm like, oh. Okay, let me see this map.
It's a good map.
Templeton. Let's see. For my parents. Wait.
Pixie.
All right, you guys go ahead. Don't wait on me. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Okay. All right. While Ashley's trying to look at that map, we are now going into the spoiler section. I'm gonna put some trigger warnings here. If these things bother you, we'll see you next time. Also, if you don't want us to be spoiled for the book and you found what we said to be interesting and you want to come back to this, this will be uploaded to Spotify for our podcast and also to YouTube for our podcast as well. So you can always come back and it'll be a good time. But the content warnings for the book is sexual assault, child abuse, family trauma, mental health, and other related topics today. So if that's not your jam and you're like, hey, I actually don't want to talk about any of that shit, then we'll see you next time. Take care of yourselves because your mental health is important. And without further ado, Cass, I'm passing it on to you since you're the lead today. Go for it.
All right, cool beans. Well, we'll just jump straight into questions then. The first one kind of goes off of where we left off in the non-spoiler section with the multiple perspectives and jumping back and forth through time. So, what did you think of the range of voices and time periods used throughout the book? And do you think the story would be different if it were told for only one perspective?
Okay, so I'll start. So, all right. So I wasn't sure because we never go into her mother's perspective. I noticed she's so this is very interesting to me. This is what I noticed. So whenever we get her like little mom's chapter when she's talking about her family tree, it always goes into still in Willie's perspective, the main character, talking about her mom and what her perspective is, which I think is interesting because it's like, well, how reliable are you as a narrator, first of all? And second of all, it feels like someone repeating a story, like, oh, my mom told me this one time that this happened to her, and that's kind of what it felt.
Yeah.
So I kind of dig that. I was like, that's actually kind of cool.
I agree. I like that because it's the only perspective of the family tree you don't get really, which is kind of like remnant of that mother-daughter relationship anyway, of like you know your parents through what they tell you, and they're not going to tell you everything about their life because they're your parents. There's boundaries there, but it is like, I don't know, because everything else she is getting for like first source, that she's learning about these other people from her family from those like primary sources, from letters and books and stuff. But her mom is the only one who hasn't given her that, which is like the whole reason that she's questing through her family history to learn what her mom won't tell her.
Oh my god. Keep talking. Sorry, my dogs are barking for no reason.
Oh,
Sorry. Yes, continue, Ashley.
I was just gonna say I agree. I like that. I also think it kind of shows like, I think I also kind of appreciate, and she kind of touches on this like later on, or like at the very end of the book. It's like, right, like my family is so well documented. It's like I can look back at my super great 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 grandma and like know her deepest darkest secrets, and it's like other people just know DNA, and it's like they might know a name. I thought that was really cool, like, right, that you can not only know who your family is, but it's like we got to know all the deets, we got to know all the tea, because like at the beginning it was really slow for me because I would like write that transition of like, okay, like how they talked, and then I was like, oh my gosh, okay, but then it was like, what two? It was the two friends, and they were crazy. That's when I was like, "Oh my god." You remember the two friends?
Charlotte and Cinnamon.
Charlotte and
Yes.
Cinnamon. Oh my gosh. And their letters just kept getting worse and worse. And she was like,
crazy.
Cinnamon's like, and I'm going to stalk and murder people. And then Charlotte's like, and I'm a witch. I set places on fire with my mind. It's like, ooh.
And then I'm sitting here like, okay, and how is this supposed to help her find her dad? I don't understand. But I really enjoyed the different perspectives. And yeah, I like the point you guys brought up. It's like I like how like her mom is still kind of in the dark, and then we kind of learn like what she told her wasn't true, and so it's kind of like, we don't know.
And like intentionally not true. She's like, I know the answer, but I'm not going to tell you because I want you to find out for yourself. Like she wanted Willie to go through this whole process.
Yep. Exactly. I'm curious, was there a perspective that you guys didn't like?
It was who's the main dude? The one who like founded Marmaduke.
Yeah,
The more I learned about Marmaduke, every time he came up, I was like, "Fuck off, get out of here, Marmaduke."
yeah.
I think I'm learning. The more and more people talk about you through their stories, the more I'm learning. Hey, you're a bad guy, Marmaduke.
Yes. Yes.
I have a hot take. This is the whole reason why I didn't give this book 5 stars.
Oh.
So here's my hot take. I did not like. So I was very excited because we have a lot of like strong female characters. Okay, so I was very excited about, and I like how they're very morally gray. Okay. I did not like the perspective of Hetty. I did not like that, which for those who did not read the book and might not know, that is a slave. She's a slave. And then I also did not like how a lot of the way that was written about the young Indian girl, the young Native American girl.
Right.
Yeah.
I did not like that. And I think I know what Lauren, like I'm on a first name basis with Lauren Groff. I know,
Lauren told me.
I know that Groff, like, I know what she was trying to go for, but I have issues. I think really I had the most issue with Hetty because, to me, and also I would say a lot of the women get sexually assaulted a lot, and they're just like they don't recognize it. And I know that that's like part of the thing. Yeah. I get it, but also it's never addressed, like even in like the present time. Because Hetty is a slave, so obviously she cannot consent to anything, but the way that she's written is like, and I'm gonna run him, and blah, 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 which I know for Groff.
Almost like,
yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say it's almost like a defense. Like, I read it like that, she feels, like when she says it like that, she feels in control. Like, I understand, like when you're saying like that's,
right.
It's like they don't realize it's assault because it's like that's how I interpret it. It's like, right, because you have no control. So it's like when these horrible men do this to you, and it's like,
Yes.
No, I agree with that. That was my perspective on Hetty. Was her like Hetty was like very hypersexualized, I think, but it was all coming from her in a way that gave her the power in a world and a setting where she had absolutely none. Her saying like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna run him," and I wore my dress like this, and he looked at me like that, and then I knew I can get whatever I want. And that's like totally her using and abusing the fact that they're only going to view her in this sexual context. They're only going to value her for that. And so her being like, well, if that's what I have, then I'm going to manipulate it. And she does. She gets what she does kind of have. She doesn't have the greatest story. I mean, it's still like modern medicine isn't a thing and everyone's sick, but she's able to like get what she wants out of this by manipulating these dumb men. So I really respected Hetty for doing what she could, and
I know that's what she was going for. But to me, personally, I feel like it missed the mark because here's why I think it missed the mark. Just ever so slightly is because and I know that like a lot of the women in here are like super hypersexual, which I really appreciated. Like a lot of them are very much like take charge of their own sexual health, and they're very open about like, and even when people say bad things like, oh, you run men around and blah blah blah, like they don't really take it to heart, which I really liked. But I think my issue is that I think I would have really liked to see more complexity from Hetty's point of view. Like when we see Hetty's point of view, I would love to see more complexity from her character instead of it simply being like point A to point B. And I feel like, especially because women of color and Black women especially are so over-sexualized and fetishized, especially with like race play and things like that, that I feel like it missed the mark for me personally. But I knew what she was trying to do. I was like, I appreciate the effort.
And I think the thing with the multiple perspectives from the various different past family tree members was the fact that we're not going to get the complete story from any of them. And that's like that's the point, is like that's what's the quote from Hamilton, who lives, who dies, who tells your story. And so whether it's them telling their story or us hearing about a family tree member from another person's perspective, you're never going to get the full story unless you hear from everyone, which is just like I feel like the theme of the story, because I mean, we'll get into it in other questions. This is only the first one, but there's like, I feel like a major theme in the book is like colonialism, and stolen land.
Absolutely.
And the fact that we're able to touch on that story fully by diving into each perspective, the perspective of the oppressed and of the oppressors. But that's like, we get incomplete stories from each one of her family members, but that's necessary because that's how we get the full picture from like a more unbiased point of view, which I really appreciated.
Yes. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree, because I could not stand if I heard like 50 chapters from Marmaduke. I would literally throw the book away.
And you know what that would be? That would be an American U.S. history text.
Yeah.
Literally, it would be awful. Oh my god. Anyway, that was my only hot take.
Wow.
Yeah. Other than that, I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
So starting at the beginning of the book,
yes,
with the monster, that there's all of these town stories of some Loch Ness type monster in Lake Glimmerglass at the center of this town. So why do you think the people of Templeton were so affected by the death of the monster? And what do you think it represents to them?
I think, because I was thinking on this, I think it's just part of like they always like everyone in the town is always like, this is our home. Like they're just very much like they want to preserve their town, and it's like I feel like the monster is like part of that magic for them, you know? And
Yeah.
it's like, right, like even in all of like her family accounts, like the monster is in there. Like even from Marmaduke's, he's like he saw a bubble in the lake and saw like something come up and come back down. Like in every account they mention the monster at least once. So it's like I feel like it's like an unspoken history that like only Templetons know. So it's kind of like that's very special to them.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think that kind
And
of
I
goes.
wonder.
Go ahead.
Hang on. That made me think of something just now. Because there's the monster dies at the beginning, like it dies and it surfaces and it floats to the top, and that's how people know that it's there, and they pull it out, and then it becomes like huge news spreading all over the place. So then this secret that used to just be Templeton's gets released to the whole world. And like throughout the book they talk about like how different Templeton is now that the monster's gone. And I wonder if it's a little bit like it's different now because like their little secret is gone. The thing that made them feel like Templeton was special is gone.
Or it's like I was thinking too, like, oh, like it's always been a myth, and then you find out that it's real, but it's dead. You know, you're like, oh, it's real, but you can't appreciate him or it's like you can, but it's like the creature is dead, so you're sad, and then now all these tourists are here, and then they take it away, and you're like, right, like you said, it's like, oh, it's gone.
And turn it, and they do like experiments and stuff on it, and trying to figure out what it is.
That was an interesting chapter. Like when she read the article that the scientist wrote, I really appreciated that. And did you guys read? I think this was the last chapter, the monsters chapter.
Yeah, the epilogue.
What?
Yeah,
you
the
didn't read
epilogue.
it?
Oh,
hang on.
Take away her star. Take away her star.
No. No. Okay, no. I read the epilogue.
Okay.
I did. Okay, I remember this.
Yeah, I loved that. And it was I was like, oh, it's like, oh, these are my, what other, it's another book that I read where a character does that with, you guys have to read, Paranisi. I won't say anymore, but what the monster does reminds me of a character in that book. It's a very good book. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah. I was just waiting for Cass to read the epilogue.
Oh yeah.
I did read the epilogue. What do you mean? I read it a month ago. That's why I forgot about
You were
it.
just okay. You just
No, because it was
refreshing.
kind of weird because like you get like this wrap up on the story and then it's like fish, 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 fish.
I loved it.
I
Yes.
also think that the monster kind of, because there's this whole thing throughout the whole book about tourism, right? And how because Willie mentions a lot about the time of days when there's no tourists because they're so plagued by it. Because the whole baseball scene and now with the monster, and I think, not poor Cass, Sev. She's fine. She's fine. Anyway,
She's fine.
I think that the monster also kind of represents them. Like they only like the monsters surface only a couple times a year, right? And that's a couple times a year is the only time that they're able to go out without coming like facing tourists, right? And it's like during the winter time, and I just think that like it kind of is a metaphor for the people themselves because yeah.
Yeah, no, that makes sense that the monster represents Templeton and this like there's so much history and secrecy in what it is, but it has become this like it has the baseball thing, the baseball tourism that's there made that part of it so superficial compared to like the depth of what Templeton is.
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
Which is very much the monster too. Yeah.
I did think it was very cute how he took care of like all the little drowning people, and the monster would like take care of their bodies and then like place their bones, and like he's like, and she's like,
they
I
die
love
in
them.
peace.
Yes, and it's like,
And
I
like
just hold them, and then
he like ties things to them so they won't float to the surface.
So sweet. It gets so. He also got so upset when they would untie like accidentally, and then
you're like, no, I lost a friend.
No, so cute.
My corpse.
You know what it reminded me of? Whenever they would talk about its teeth, it reminded me of Chauncey from.
Yes.
Because he has black teeth. I was like, oh my god, Chauncey, you're here.
Chauncey. Oh, I can't wait to read the second one.
Oh, I know.
November, baby.
E.
I mean, you can read it before then. I'm sure you will. Cass will have another gold star.
I will. Thank you. All right, let's get right into Willie, this complicated, messy lady. So why do we think that Willie returns to Templeton, given that she was this, I am too good for Templeton, I need to leave and become educated in a big city, and her complicated mother relationship? Why does she come back? What is she searching for? And do you think she finds it?
I would run away too if I tried to fucking kill someone with a fucking plane. I would drive. I would fucking drive 40 hours if I was trying to run down the dean of admissions with a fucking plane, because I have basically like some type of psychosis. Like, what the hell?
Ayo! Oh, Willie.
Like, I know. Hell no.
Willie has many flaws. And
Yes.
attempted homicide is one of them.
As soon as I read that, I was like, what the fuck? Willie, what the fuck?
And they said it so casually. She said it was like so casual. She's like, yeah, so then like when I got jealous at his wife, I tried to run her down with an airplane, so I can't go back to school.
It was crazy.
But really, she was never kicked out of school. I didn't realize that till like the end when they're like, yeah, we'll see, because you're teaching. You're gonna be a grad assistant. You're teaching this class. You'll be back. But she had like so decided, I can't. That life is over, because she was just so scared to confront it again.
And I think that kind of speaks to Lily's character because she often catastrophizes a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that kind of I mean, like, attempted murder, I feel like that was not catastrophized, but everything, but like her running away 40 hours, driving through the night, she thinks she's pregnant, and she drives straight through, like, that whole, like, almost like a martyr, like, oh, I've got to do this, blah, 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 and then runs to Templeton, which is secretly her safe space, but she doesn't want to admit it.
Right.
Well, yeah.
And
I mean, because, like, what do you do? What do you
Right.
do when, like, your entire life falls apart? You go home.
Some
Yeah.
people do. Some people do.
I feel like, yeah. I feel like also it was like maybe like an easy out for her because it's
Mhm.
like, okay, well, because she thinks she's pregnant, and then so she goes to Templeton, and then later on, her mom finally says like, well, maybe you should think of getting an abortion, and then she was talking about how she had this relief. Like I think she was going to either it's like, okay, if I go home and I have this baby, my mom will help, or maybe I don't have the baby and I can go. Like she's kind of like almost putting the decision on something else. Like she doesn't have to. Like, that's how
Yeah.
I felt, like, she was going
Yeah.
home because she didn't wanna decide, and so she was gonna see, like, "Oh, this is what everyone's gonna say," and, "Oh, like, my mom," all this stuff. It's kinda like, I think that she was gonna use other people to gear what she should do next, kinda thing.
Yeah.
That's how I felt.
And no, you're exactly right, because she does that when she doesn't make a decision with the baby, the supposed lump in her body, because she's like, oh, I need to know what Primus, the person I had an affair with, is gonna want to do, and blah blah blah.
Oh my gosh.
And
yeah,
so she like constantly, I agree with you wholeheartedly on that. So she's like, my mom's gonna choose, and then this person's gonna choose, because she didn't get the answer from her mom, because her mom waits for her to bring it up, and then once she brings it up, she says her opinion, and somehow she is offended by this opinion because she's like, oh, you turned to religion, bah, bah, bah.
Oh.
I can't believe that you're for abortion. Like, your mother. Like,
Over yourself, really.
yeah, literally. You're just wanting something to be mad about at this point, and that is what you chose to be mad about. And yeah, it's just like she constantly, when she didn't get that answer, then she was like, okay, well, now I'm gonna wait and see if this guy calls me, who I probably won't call me, and I have, and now I gotta, all my decisions are gonna weigh on his opinion. And I'm just, and she's just afraid to make a decision at this point.
Very true. Very true. Yeah, like, I mean, like, because you can tell, just like, she makes it clear that she doesn't feel prepared to have a child. And so I think one of the main reasons for her not deciding yet is because it's like, well, this still means I haven't been like rejected by the professor.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
She can sort of allow herself to exist in this limbo if she doesn't change anything.
Yeah. And to answer the second part of your question, I do think that she does find what she's searching for, which is herself.
Yes.
Yeah, no, she finds like, well, she does find her father in the end.
That's true.
That was so sweet.
It was super sweet. But yeah, no, I think she finds like peace in who she is based on like the fact that she goes through countless messy family history of people who have done far worse things in her family's past, and I think she kind of feels at home in that. She's like, oh, I made a mistake too, and I can keep going. So yeah, I think
it's not like burning down things, or well, she did almost. Well, she did try to run someone over with a plane, so I take that back.
Yeah.
Equivalent,
that was pretty unhinged.
But I think she finds comfort and in a sense of belonging within the larger picture of everything.
I agree with that.
Yes. Another thing about Willie that I wanted to bring up, because this is what I almost texted y'all, but I was like, I'll save it. She keeps roasting her mom, and I needed her to stop. She roasts her
She's so
mom
her
so
mom.
much. She's like, we were taking a walk and I'm just looking at her jowls jiggling as we're walking. I'm like, what? That was so unnecessary, but like,
Eh,
leave your poor. And it's like, or she'll like, she just comments on her mom's body all the time. And it's just like, or Zeke too. It's like, okay, okay, Miss High and Mighty looking down
She
on
is. She is a
everyone.
little
Mhm.
high and mighty.
Like,
She goes off to the big city. She's about to be a PhD. I think
mhm,
when she comes back, she's a little like she is. Yeah, she's got her nose in the air a little because she's like, I'm better than this. I don't belong here.
right.
And I think it's like her own judgment of herself reflecting onto other people. Like she's critical of her mom because I don't know, she in a little bit she's like Mamma Mia. She's reliving her mom's story, like coming home pregnant and from from like in like a scandalous way.
Right.
And so I think she kind of sees a lot of herself in her mom and like and her future, you know, being like, oh well, that's what I'm gonna be like, and that's what I'm gonna look like, and so I think it's all judgment of herself that she reflects onto other people.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree with that. And I think she's also hypercritical of her mom, and especially because she sees her future, right? Like how
Yeah.
critical, of course, and also I think she's hypercritical going back because her mom has changed. And she says throughout the whole book,
Yeah.
she's like, my mom is the one thing that stays the same, like the ice cream scene where she asks her mom, she's like, do you remember what you used to say when I was little? And blah blah blah. And mom's like, I'm not gonna say that because you're not a kid anymore. Like you're not gonna find it
Yeah.
funny, and it's not, you're not a kid anymore. And that's when she blatantly just says like, the reason why I loved asking my mom to say that is because she never changed throughout my whole childhood, and now she has changed.
And
And
that's scary.
mm-hmm. And I think the mom says something at the beginning. Vi says something at the beginning that really speaks throughout this whole book, and I really resonated with it. And so as soon as Lily like sees the cross and sees her praying, she's immediately judgmental and is like, I can't believe that you're a Jesus freak now. Like, what the fuck? Like, I can't believe that you would do that. La da 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 da. And really berating her and not actually asking, like, oh, mom, I see that you are religious now. Um,
Mhm.
I'm curious, like, why do you resonate with that? Like, she doesn't ask any like questions. She just immediately goes to, like, attacking her because she does have that high and mighty like mindset. And the mom, like, Vi looks at her and she goes, I contain multitudes. And throughout the whole book, she proves that. She's like, she's like, oh, you're a Jesus freak, but you want me to get an abortion. She's like, I am religious, but also I have like rationale. Like, I'm not stupid.
Right.
Like
Right.
she says that maybe I have evolved and developed into something else because I found love, but also faith all in the same time. But that doesn't mean that I turned my back on everything that I knew.
Mm.
And I
Right.
think that's
Yeah.
super important for the whole book because literally everybody in this book contains multitudes from all the perspectives and the multiple perspectives that we get, and they kind of overlap each other. Like all of it is multitudes, and everyone pretty much for the most part is a complex character, especially like, we have Ezekiel and Peter and Hazel and all of these people that kind of are juxtapositions of themselves in some way. And I feel like that's a very human take, and I really liked it. Sorry, I went on a tangent,
Yeah.
but
No. No, I like that too. Um, like I was even like her reverend boyfriend, it was like very like he was very what do I want to say? Just like very um tightly wound, and then towards the end he's like kind of loosens up a little bit and it's kind of like, okay, like I won't, like I'll still love these people for their faults. Like at the beginning he's very like, oh my gosh, like
We have to pray for Willie for her
yeah.
yes,
to find uh faith and put herself back together.
Yeah.
right. And then like when they had that huge fight and she was like, "Look, like this is her decision. Like if she chooses to do this, that's her decision and I'm her mother and I'll support her." And like they had this big blowout fight, but then he comes back with them at the end cuz it's like yeah, it's not it's
This is
almost
worth
like
more.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's like you can still love that person still, it's like
Absolutely.
yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I
All
also
right.
liked
Oh,
oh sorry, you go ahead. No, you're the boss. Go
no,
ahead.
I was gonna jump to the next question. So if you have
Yes,
more,
you go
go.
ahead. No, you go ahead.
Oh, okay.
No, you hang up. No,
So,
you hang up.
um, so throughout the book, this is pivoting. So throughout the book, there are lots of references of ghosts and paranormal activity, especially in Willie's house.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, she's able to see and sense extraterrestrial presences and be comforted by them. So, what was your opinion on the usage of ghosts throughout the book, and why do you think they were so important to the story being told?
I I like the ghosts because it feels like the people we just read about are still present. Like they never identify who the ghost is, but you're kind of like, "Oh, it could be Hetty. Oh, it could be, Cinnamon, or it could be like Charlotte. I like that
Mm-hmm.
aspect where it's like we read about these people in the past, but then the ghost kind of is like, "Oh, they're still here. It's kind of like they're part of the present a little bit.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then it can, especially because like you're slowly learning about each person from the past, it's like the ghost is going to take on whatever characteristics of whoever you're learning about. You're going to relate that to
Mhm.
that.
Mm. I have a hot take.
Yes.
You said you only had one.
I know, but
Oh, no.
this one did not affect my star rating. It did
Okay.
not affect my star rating at all.
Huh.
It did not. I actually like this hot take. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I think. Hear me out. I think the ghosts are supposed to represent mental illness.
Okay.
Okay. Here's why.
All right.
Okay, so whatchamacallit, the guy was like, curse on you! Curse you! And I curse you right now and these generations, right? But what's crazy is that guy who he cursed was already like buck wild. That guy was already like, I'm gonna be manic and I'm gonna go do this and I'm gonna do that and then I'm gonna be depressed and I'm gonna do this and that. I'm like, okay, all right. Anyway, so here's my thing. We never get to see her perspective. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
We never get to see her perspective. I think this is my theory. I think she was doing weed and turned to God and faith and all that jazz because she also sees ghosts, and not just the ones in her house, but I think she sees it to the like extent of her ancestors. Because Willie only really sees she sees a couple of ghosts here and there in town, but I think Vi is very much like she's seeing things and hallucinating, and that was her way of coping. Like those are her two ways of that's why she prays all the goddamn time, because as she's aging, her mental health is getting worse. Like she is becoming more religious, and I know that she said like it's because she initially went there to like just be in there and be like this is all tomfoolery. And then she's like, actually, I fell into it, and I also fell in love. And I was like, oh, that's beautiful. But also, I think you were coping, which I don't judge you for, but I think you were coping. And I also, I see a lot of, because Willie is just like, I just have a temper. No, ma'am, you are homicidal in a split second. You, split. That's, almost a personality disorder in the way that she, interacts with people. And she has a lot of narcissistic tendencies. She the Venn diagram is Venn diagramming for the mental health there. And then we have the lady who saw people in the fucking lake. What's her name? Cinnamon. Yeah. She saw dead fucking people.
Or was that Charlotte?
No, Charlotte said that she could set things on fire. She was an
It was,
arsonist.
Hold on.
yeah,
It was
Cinnamon.
Cinnamon did.
Cinnamon
There was another
started.
lady who walked in the lake. Like she was
Oh
like
yeah,
Yes.
there was
sneaked
that
out
with
because
rocks
she
in
was
her
like,
pocket.
yeah, and she's like, I'm
Mhm.
gonna be with the
Wasn't
Indian
that
girl in the lake, and we're
Mhm.
like,
wasn't
oh,
that like I think that was Marmaduke's wife.
It was Elizabeth.
And then Cinnamon, knowing
Was
that
it?
story, is like, I'm gonna be like her. I can tell. I'm gonna absolutely unwind. It was whoever. No,
No,
I
because
can't
remember
remember.
there was a girl who married the man who brought the baseball museum to Templeton. That I thought that was the
God.
girl
Let me
who
look
walked into
at my
Oh,
the.
Venn diagram. Hold on.
I know I need it. Hold on, let me look at the
Let me
family
look
tree.
at the family tree. Hold on.
Let me
no,
look
but
at the family map.
there were multiple cases of, like, it skipped a generation or so, but there were multiple women who were like, yeah, I can tell, I'm gonna unwind. Like, I
Mhm.
see the ghosts and I know that's gonna be my undoing.
Right. And like the whole, I think it was also like oh my gosh, the person who married Sai, I can't remember.
Yes.
What is her
Yes.
name? Her. Yeah?
Hannah?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that she did it just to save her town, and
Mhm.
she was so miserable. But like, she seemed so happy, like when she was pregnant and everything. But as soon as that was over, she like shoo.
I think it's
Mhm.
Sarah. Yeah, Sarah.
Yep. I think so too. I'm looking at
Yeah,
it.
and you know that tracks with mental health. I mean,
Yeah.
It's
it's not technically genetic, but like the predisposition to develop certain mental illness can run in families.
right.
And
And you
especially that, like, skipping a generation if certain
mm.
stressors present.
And then, you have Willie who also like
Can
had
see the
huge
ghosts and
pregnancy psychosis. Like her whole
yeah,
Yes.
fucking pregnancy was a phantom pregnancy, which is a
yep.
sign of like mental illness.
Oh yeah,
Um,
her mom was
I
like, it's a little mental illness, but it's okay.
yeah,
I stress.
yeah.
They're like, yeah, you have a normal profile, psychologically speaking. And then
Mm-hmm.
she's like, oh yeah, like Bloody Mary also had a psychosis pregnancy. And, and Willie was like, you, the lady who murdered everyone, you said I was normal. And her mom's like, well, normal people don't have psychotic pregnancies.
Mm-hmm. So,
Yeah.
But she's so non-judgmental about it. She's like,
yeah.
yeah, Willie, you're a little crazy, but oh well.
But I think also that's because she's a little crazy. Their whole family is. And also,
Mhm.
you want to know why? You want to know why I think all these fucking women developed all these fucking mental illnesses for the most part?
Because of the crazy, power-hungry men.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a man.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. Fuck all those
Yep.
bastards. Fuck them. Fuck them. Fuck those
Yep.
bastards.
Yep.
Every man
It
I
was-
read about in this goddamn fucking book, I wanted to fucking punch them in a fucking hole in the wall and bury them. And I was like, I'm gonna be homicidal with a fucking plane. I hate every single man. Every single one. I was like, you all are the fucking worst. I hate you. Anyway.
Yes.
It was very satisfying when, because this also was kind of like Willie had those crazy dreams. Elizabeth kept having those dreams of Marmaduke's murder, and then she was gonna stop him, but then she finds out No Name's baby is Marmaduke's, and she's like, you go
Mhm.
ahead. Bye.
Go die.
You know what? It's like, oh, actually, never mind. No, you go ahead. You go wrestle over. I don't know, wrestle. That was so
I
random. I was like, I guess that's a thing they did. And so she was, and then he showed his dead body showed up, and she goes, "Yep."
I knew it. Like, I could have told you that you're gonna die if you did that. Which again, these women with pre-elections, um, if that's the word,
Mm-hmm.
it's something like that.
Pre-suffrage.
Um,
Pre-woman suffrage.
yeah, that they or no, these women who just like know things, who have this like insight into the world, whether it's ghosts or getting a premonition that her husband's gonna die. But then she's like, you know what? I'm gonna let it happen.
Awesome. Yeah.
Go die.
Go die. Yep.
Valid. So valid.
And that's the real hero of the novel.
Absolutely.
Elizabeth.
Absolutely. As soon as she's like, I fucking killed him, I was like, period. Yeah, you did, queen. Yeah, you did. Period. Let that man die. I can't stand him. Every time he comes on my book, I want to punch it. Hate him.
Yeah.
Anyway.
On the top.
I was just gonna say, really fast before we move off that topic to another topic. It's way more fun though to believe that they're all real ghosts, which I do in my heart. It's all real.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You know, that my hot take for the book is the supernatural elements. That's what prevented me from giving it 4 full stars.
Really?
Because it was not convincing. I think this book is called The Monsters of Templeton. It begins with a lake monster, and then like it just disappears. You know, like we don't revisit the lake monster for the majority of the book. And so like the connection, obviously she's trying to be like, this is a question that comes up later, but we're going to touch on it slightly now. That, you know, I like the point of it's supposed to be like, oh, the monsters are the people all along, you know, like there's everyone can be a bit of a monster, like what you do. And, but there are also like literal monsters between the ghosts and the lake glimmerglass. And so maybe, I don't know, it teetered too much in between, like, this is legit and this is fantasy. And if it had picked a side on that, I think it would have been easier to, like, create a connection. If it were, like, a little more fantastical, then you could be like, oh, well, this is, like, a metaphor for the people of the town. But a lot of it, especially with the monster, that it was, like, a legit supernatural thing that science had never seen before, that I'm like, wait a second, like I don't know, there's just like too loose of a connection between the people and the monsters to really like drive that point home for me. And that's what I didn't like, is it just didn't, I don't feel like it fully came together with the like, oh, who are the monsters? Are the monsters these actual monsters, or are the monsters the people? Clearly the monsters are the people in this book. And so like the actual fantastical monsters were not like enough of the story for me.
Very fair.
I agree. Yeah. I know, I did want to see more of the ghosts. Like I feel like they were just more like background. It's like the ghost was pulsing. It's like I thought it's like, oh, is he trying to give you a hint? Is he trying to I don't know.
What though? Yeah. That kind of goes with their unhingedness though. They're just like, fucking ghosts. Oh well. I'm gonna go kill someone with a plane. I'm like, okay.
I knew.
Oh yeah, the ghost in my house is talking to me, but I'm gonna keep reading this journal about my crazy ancestors.
Literally, I was like, everyone's so nonchalant about these fucking ghosts. And she like gets possessed by the fucking ghost. She's like,
she does.
It's like 0 to 100. It's like you can't really directly look at the ghost, and then it's like, I could not move my body. I wanted to throw up. Someone was controlling my arms. What? What? Oh my gosh. Yeah, I want to know who that was. Who? It probably was Elizabeth. She was like, I need you to know.
Well, it could be any of them. I think Willie seems convinced that it's Hetty. But really, it could be any of them.
You know what?
Maybe it's all of them.
It's the ghosts of her past.
If that was Hetty, that would change my star rating. If they would have confirmed it, I think that would have changed it, because that's such like a pinnacle role.
Yeah. Well, they touch it. Like Willie thinks it's Hetty because of like how tidy everything is kept. That her mom, like, just everything is kept very nice. That's what Hetty always did. Yeah, and it was Hetty's house.
I don't know, because I read it as Elizabeth also, Ash. So I don't, but I don't know if that's because of the perspective. Like, because it changes into Elizabeth's perspective in the next chapter. So I don't know if like that was because I thought that it was just like Willie being like, "Ah, oh, Hetty," and then we get corrected like, no, it's actually Elizabeth. But
Yeah.
I could
Also,
be
Hetty
completely
isn't.
wrong.
Yeah. Also, Hetty isn't really directly related to Willie.
Yeah.
So that's why I thought it was like Elizabeth. Because it's like, yeah, it's Hetty's house, but
That's a
it's
good
like
point. That's a good point.
Hetty could not give a fuck about Willie for real though. She'd be like, fuck you. You're the other woman's ancestor.
But you know
True.
what? That would make sense. It would be Elizabeth because she had that fucking cheat ass husband. And so she always would like interrupt when like Willie wanted to have sex. And she's like, fuck no. Fuck these men. You don't need to have sex with these men. Get them out of here.
I do think it was interesting in this book. I think every situation, like, it's always like, which I feel like is so true. It's like just there's a lot of men that just won't take no for an answer. Like he
like
just
all
really
these fucking
does
men,
not.
all these fuck ass men.
I was so sick of Zeke.
Yeah, and it's like
That's jumping ahead a few questions, but we can go ahead and do that.
Okay.
Because opinions on Ezekiel, and did your opinions on him change throughout the course of the story?
I think I slightly changed my opinion of him at the very end because he kind of like chilled a little bit. Like I want to say it's like, and it's like I think he learned, like I think he grew as a person after re-seeing Willie, but like yeah, it's like, dude, you don't just show up at her house. You don't just wait in her garage. No. What it, and also it's like, it's also one of those things of like that scene where they're coming back from the bar and she's like, get off, stop. And he's like, oh, it's like, yeah, what made you think that that's what she wanted to do? Like, it wasn't like she didn't lean in. Like, I feel like even when they were describing it in the book, it's like she not even physically was hinting to him that she wanted him to advance on her like that. I was like, that caught me by surprise. I was like, oh, I'm not ready to read this right now. and then she was like, get off, and he did, and he's like trying to apologize, but it's like, yeah, dude, no, no. So
but then he doesn't freaking stop.
Yeah, and then he's like,
I was so over
Zeke.
Zeke.
And then also the other guy from the library, he's a little creep too.
Yeah, I liked him at first, and then
1 second. Yeah. We got rated. Hold on. Hi everybody! Thank you for the raid, Jen. I know you have to leave and ready to run. I love you so much. Hi everyone. We are in the spoiler section of our book club. So if you don't want spoilers for this book, feel free to skedaddle. Also, Zen did post the trigger warnings, but just in case, I'm gonna post it one more. Oh, thank you, Zen. You're the best. That's why I love you. Thank you, Zen. I love you so much. Hi, everybody. It's so good to see you. This book is pretty great. Hold on, we'll give you the rundown. I gave it 4 stars. Cass gave it 3.8 stars. And Ashley gave it, what'd you give it, Ash?
3.5.
3.5. So we're discussing now. We're talking about fuck-ass men. So if you don't want to hear about fuck-ass, bitch-ass, fuck-ass men, don't be here.
My God!
I hate them! Anyway. I hate them anyway. Out of 5 stars, Mika. Out of 5 stars. Also, if any of those trigger warning topics bother you, please feel free to rate and run. I really appreciate everyone coming in. I'll say a quick hello to Kenzo and Pete. Hello, I already said hi to you. Hi, Mika. Hi, Kid Caldwin. Kid Caldwin? What a great name. I couldn't say it correctly. You guys are amazing, and I love you. Okay, we're continuing on with our discussion. So sorry to interrupt. Just had to address everybody. Talking about fucking Peter in the fucking library. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, Peter.
Oh yeah. I liked Peter at first until the whole bar scene, and then he's like this player, and I was like, oh, right, Pete. But Zeke really, but then like Peter didn't bother me because then he was kind of like he was like unveiled as a dick, and then he doesn't really present any problems again. He only helps Willie.
Well, he also kind of tries to help Zeke, and it's like they both
Oh
showed up at
yeah,
her house, and it's like,
that's true. Being
no.
like wingman, I couldn't
Right.
stand Zeke. He came up at the worst possible times. Like Willie's having a
Yeah.
breakdown, learning about her family, and then it's like, and then I turned around the corner and there's Zeke, and I'm like, get out of here! Oh my god! And I do agree that Zeke, I think, learns a lot about himself and finds the motivation to start working towards a life that he actually wants because of Willie, which is kind of ironic because he like puts Willie on such a pedestal and is like, I'm gonna get my life together because your life is together, but Willie's life is falling apart.
Literally.
Which also
Yeah.
like inconsiderate because he doesn't
Yeah.
even recognize how distraught she is. I guess she does try very hard to hide it, but he just like has no respect for where she's at or why she's there, and it's just like, ooh, all right, I'm gonna get with Willie.
No,
And I do think
go
he
ahead.
respects her more than that. I think he respects her more than that as just like a physical prize. But I don't know. I was sick of it. I was like, this is not necessary. Like, Willie's finding herself right now and learning a lot, and she just does not need you here, Zeke. Please go away.
No, and literally, when fucking, when they were in the when Vi, I'm so bad. Guys, I'm so bad. This made me so angry. I literally was so upset, and I had to walk away from the book for a second because I got really mad. But and I'm sorry, so sorry. We already talked about this. I got a little distracted, but I want to say my piece about this part. When Vi is just fucking ass sitting, I was so mad at her when Vi, the mother, is sitting at the fucking table and she's like giggling to herself, kiki haha. No, Vi, this is not a kiki haha moment because Zeke and Ezekiel, whatever the fuck ass his name is, and Peter are ambushing your daughter who is going through a distressful moment. And I was so mad. And she's kiki haha. No, it's not a kiki haha moment. This is not a fun time fucking ass moment. Bye. And then Ezekiel's like, and then Willie's obviously mad. Right? Because I would be mad if I had a bitch ass day and these two goons are over here trying to romance me with some stupid song and some stupid vegetables for dinner. Okay? All right? And I'm mad and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? And they all make her feel bad for it? Absolutely not. Absolutely.
No.
He's like, oh,
I was
what?
really mad at that part.
Oh, he's like, oh, what? We're just trying to make you feel better. Really? What the fuck? I can't believe blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, shut the hell up before I come through the book and literally erase your existence from this page. Because I can't fucking stand you. That's such like a nice guy energy that made me so incredibly aggravated and angry. Anyway, and then Peter's like, no, go kiki haha somewhere else. Go kiki haha somewhere else because I was so angry. Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I wonder if, like, I was saying her name was V because it's Vivian or Vivian.
Oh.
I kept saying V too.
Oh,
yeah.
my bad. I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay. Don't be
I'm so sorry.
I was just saying. I just wanted to say that so that when I said V, it wasn't like I was being passive aggressive.
I can't fucking read.
So
dude,
V said.
No. Yeah, I just didn't want to come.
And I remember when V.
I'm sorry. I just couldn't change it. I was like, no, this is how I read it. So I'm gonna. Anyway, I feel like V, is like took this moment to live through Willie because she never had this happen to her. Like, you know what I mean? It's like no man like pined after her like this. So she's like I think she just got swept up in the moment. Like, oh my gosh, so romantic, and someone, she's having a rough time and like I think she just got swept into it.
Yeah. No, and I
never
think
got
it was
that.
maybe not the time and place. Because then there's also like Zeke's ex-wife shows up. And that's a whole shenanigan. But
oh my gosh, yeah.
it's just like read the room, but to be fair, Willie does not really share what she's going through. As far as they know, she's just back in town and she's kind of being pissy, so they're like, what the heck? But if they had known what she was going through, I think it would have been a different situation. Going back to communicate your needs.
But also, Willie said in the bar, don't fucking follow me home. And what did he do?
He
His
followed
bitch
her
ass
home?
followed her home like a fuck ass creep. And I was like, what the fuck?
I'm not saying Zeke was doing the correct thing here.
She
Zeke had
said,
desperate
"I'm
spelled across
embarrassed."
his forehead.
She said, I'm embarrassed to be seen with you. And he said, bet, I'm going to follow you home and try to make out with you and have sex in your garage. What? Anyway.
Yeah.
So bad.
No, I think they're both at fault. I don't like Zeke's character, but I think Willie is very confused, and I think
that's true.
does lead him on a little, only to be like,
Yeah.
oh my god, leave me alone, you're so embarrassing, and he's like, what the fuck?
That's fair.
I think they're both very much at fault here, but I think they just need to leave each other alone.
Yeah.
And then at the end, when Willie's like, I think our paths will cross again, I'm like, I sure hope not.
I actually hope they never do. Thank you.
I think that was also like Zeke's kind of breaking point of like, no, I'm done. Like,
Yeah.
this whole summer you've been leading me on, which finally, like, that should have been honestly, if someone was like, I'm embarrassed to be seen with you, I'd be like, don't ever talk to me again.
Get the hint, Zeke.
It's like, got it, cool, blocking you on everything. Don't ever. Wish granted, you asshole. Dang.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy that whole plot line. It felt very unnecessary when like
Felt very toxic.
the part of this the part, like, the whole point of the story is like Willie finding herself and learning about her family, and I'm like, why do we need to keep throwing this guy in here? It just doesn't feel necessary.
Yeah.
I also wonder if that just made her feel good that someone wanted her, because she wants this
True,
grimace
it
guy to
does.
want her so bad, and he's not calling her, but this guy is like
True.
falling head over heels for her, so she might be liking
like,
that
well,
attention.
This'll do, which is kind of similar, again, following her mom's story. Jumping straight into the father story here.
Yes.
That we figuring out who Willie's father is. That originally V tells Willie, oh, you know, when I was a hippie and like jumping from commune to commune, I was just having crazy hippie sex, and I don't know who your dad is. Mamma mia, could be 3 different dads. And Willie's just like, okay, cool, that's the story. And then suddenly V's like, actually, your dad, I know who he is, and he lives in Templeton right now. But I'm not going to tell you who he is. You're going to have to read but I am going to tell you that it is a little bit incestual because he's kind of related to our family line. So instead you're going to have... I like that all of that's glossed over too, that like Willie's whole family is a little bit product of incest. But that's a different monster. That's the real monster of Templeton, is incest. But then
it's like triple incest.
It's wild. Anyway, so she's like, I know who your father is, but I'm going to make you read every book in the library about both me and your father's past family to learn who he is. But there's the whole story with V that he's like some young dude walking through town just trying to like, hey, I want to buy this home from your dead parents that you're fixing up, V. And she's like, ooh, you're kind of a nice person giving me attention. Whoop, yeah. I have a child. And which is kind of the same. Willie kind of starts to follow the same story.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, yeah. Mamma mia, here we go again. Incest. Ooh, do, 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 do.
Perfect. That's actually our new theme song for book club. So.
No.
books are going to be about incest now. That's what all our books are going to be about. Love, romance, incest.
Sounds good to me.
My Little Sister's
I don't
Cute
wanna-
is up next. Anyway. Don't worry, I'm gonna let the bit die. I'm letting it die. I'm letting the bit die. It's fine. Was there a question in your talking about the mom? I'm curious. Did I miss it?
Oh, hang on. Let me.
Okay.
La 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 la
I was like,
Why do you think she kept it a secret from Willie? And how would you have responded in Willie's shoes?
Well, I would have had. I also think this also kind of like, and even V says it, like she made her to be like, be very independent, be very like, you know, pick yourself, put you on your feet, like very, she's like, I want you to be smart, this and that. So it's like I feel like they've always had this like, I'm testing you kind of thing from the beginning, like, oh, everything is a test. So it's kind of like for their relationship, that makes sense. But if that was me, I'd be like, oh no, I'll start knocking on doors. I'd be like, hello, have you ever like,
Are you
like,
my mother?
I would have caused a scene. I would have, yeah. It, I would probably put an ad in the paper. Be like, hello,
Missing father.
one of you are my dad.
Which one of you?
Make it a game show.
Right. Be like, interviews held at the Averill Cottage from this time to
Welcome
this
to
time.
the fathers of Templeton.
Oh, I thought you were
Yeah.
gonna be like, "Who's your daddy?"
Oh,
Good one.
yeah.
On today's episode, the Run Club.
Right. As
The
they're running
Run
by.
Club.
I know. They're so. I also love like
See-
their little problems too. And then like I don't know. I always like their little chapters because it's like
The
I feel
Run
like
Club.
because I feel like they're a little taste of Templeton culture because you only really get that
Yes.
from Willie, but then it's like you get these random group of dudes just running, and you're like, ah, and it's like
And
they
now-
help with the monster, but it's like, ah, this is the culture.
And they also have like shit going on in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, I appreciated the Run Club.
Yeah, they're
but
probably
then-
my favorite part.
The game show wouldn't even have worked because Willie's father doesn't even remember that she's like
Yes.
hey, that he's like she asks him because it's a dude from the Run Club, the one who's been divorced over and over because he can't have kids, and he's so upset about not having kids. So sweet arc for him. But Willie invites him to lunch before she leaves, and he dresses all nice. This single 50-year-old man is like, "Ooh, Willie Upton, this young hot thing's taking me out to lunch." And then she's like, "You're my dad." And boogie, loogie, loogie. And he's like so floored. He's like, "What do you mean I'm your dad? Like, no." And she's like,
Yeah, like,
"No,
that's
remember, like,
impossible.
you fucked my mom." And he's like, I don't remember that. But then he's like, oh, she gave me like 3 glasses of wine and ooh, all right. And which is so funny that her dad didn't even know. But then he's like, oh, how lucky am I? I've always wanted a daughter, and I just hit the jackpot that I'm the father of Willie Upton, and the fact that I could have made something like you. And like, he's so absolutely flabbergasted and so giddy. It's super sweet and like a wonderful arc for both of them because he finally has a kid and Willie like feels important and loved. And it's such a nice little arc.
It's literally adorable. So cute.
I also think it's really sweet that like, and I like how she touched on it again at their lunch, but like how all the running buds, but like he was like helped her with a loan for college. He's like, I've been to all your soccer games, like all this, like it was kind of like, it's funny, like they didn't know they were father and daughter, but it's like they almost had that kind of relationship already. So it's almost like they didn't have to make up for lost time. Like he was
Yeah.
already somewhat that figure to her, and I thought that was so. I was like, oh, it's like he's like, oh, because you didn't have a dad, and it's like I am your dad. I don't know,
Yeah, I
I thought
agree
that
with
was
that.
so
It was
sweet.
so cute, and their little subplots was so nice because we didn't get a lot of chapters with them, but the chapters we did get was like you found out like their troubles, like what they do, and then at the end you find out that like literally all their troubles
All of them
like
are
subside and they like resolve themselves and everyone turns out okay, and it's just it was so sweet and so wholesome and nice. I really liked it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
yeah. And then the meth head daughter saw the baby monster.
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't
I was like,
expecting you
yes,
to say that out of your
the
mouth. I was
baby.
like, what?
The baby has been confirmed.
There
There
is
is
that.
There's a baby monster, yeah.
the magic of Templeton has been restored.
Thank
See, and
God.
everyone, but once the baby monster's there, everyone like suddenly things start going right in their life again.
Mhm.
Yeah,
It's
so
the magic of Templeton.
true. So true.
Okay, well, kind of coming into the wrap up here of the book, then
Mhm.
let's before we get into like our deep existential end question of the book, let's start with your favorite character and why.
Mm.
Cass, who's your favorite character? You go first.
I liked V.
Yeah.
Okay. And why?
Because she was just, despite us not really getting, for one, yeah, never getting her perspective, not really getting much of her history. I feel like she, next to Willie, was like the most round, developed character. And like so much of who she is, we learn through Willie. And I don't know, I just really liked her. I think she was very grounded in all of the craziness that was going on throughout Willie's discovery of herself, and she was always non-judgmental about it. And again, like her own line, like she contains multitudes. The fact that she's able to hold two beliefs in her at the same time, she like is the only character that was capable of doing that. And I just had a lot of respect for V.
I agree with that.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
This is a hard question.
This is hard.
I feel like
They're also flawed.
yeah,
Yes.
that's what's making it tricky. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna say someone who we haven't even talked about yet.
Oh,
Clarissa.
is it her?
I was just about to say.
I was thinking about that too, because I'm like, her whole dying best friend, we never brought that up. Which was kind of like a super weird side story.
Yeah, it was strange.
Yeah, but
she was my favorite.
And then her horrible fucking boyfriend. Oh my
fuck that
God.
guy.
I was gonna say, like staying on the trope of awful men, it's like, that's like, that statistic of like women who are terminally ill, like the divorce rates and breakup rates of women who are terminally ill.
Every John Green book.
So it's just, I feel like, yeah, it's like,
Sorry, that got me off guard. Sorry. Anyway.
oh man.
Yes, I did know that. It's literally it's awful.
Yeah.
In real life, it's awful. In real life, it's awful. The John Green comment was really necessary, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
I wonder if she had someone close to her have a terminal illness, because I feel like she had that relationship like spot on, like
there's
like of the sick
so
person
much
and like people around them. Like I feel like she got that pretty spot on, like what that's like.
My favorite thing about most books is like how much you can learn about the author based on how they write their characters and what they make important. And so much of this, like, yeah, and again, like with all the tropes of like these super powerful women and these terrible men, I'm like, what's your past, Lauren? Like,
Right?
what's your experience? But so I always keep little note cards as bookmarks so I can write down my favorite quotes. And I only wrote down one quote from this book, but my favorite thing was something that the librarian, we also, oh, you know what, maybe she's my favorite character, the librarian.
Hazel, yeah, Hazel is great.
Hazel,
It's
that like she helps Willie with her whole quest, and she's kind of standoffish for a while, but then all of a sudden she's like, I'm actually have the most amount of knowledge on your family, and now it is my time to help you. You've reached the part of your quest where you have unlocked my help.
Yeah, she really geeked out with Willie.
Oh, but she's so wise. I love her. But she said something to Willie. She said, "Amazing thing, fiction tells you more sometimes about the writer than the writer can tell you about himself in any memoir." Which I loved, because for one, it's like was like so true, because that's what what she learns the most is one of her ancestors was a writer, and like that's kind of what continued this Templeton fame, was this writer, and he wrote tons of fictional books. And the librarian tells Willie, like, well, if you're looking for information on your family, you're going to find it in his fiction. Like, you're going to figure out who he is and what he was like based on how he writes his fictional novels, which is just so true. Like, authors put so much of themselves into their stories. And the fact that Lauren Groff writes this quote down of like, oh, you can learn so much about a writer from their fiction, like even more than in their own memoir. And I'm like, you sly thing, Lauren. What are you telling us about yourself through this book? And I just adored that whole idea.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's a good take. That's a good take.
Yes. So maybe my favorite character is the librarian, actually.
Oh, I never said why Clarissa was my favorite.
Oh, yeah,
I'm so sorry. My bad. We got on a tangent. So Clarissa is my favorite because I think I resonate with her the most. I just feel like that's literally the only reason. I feel like she is flawed enough to where it's like, I feel like she's flawed enough, and especially because we're getting it from Willie's perspective, right? So she's probably a little extra flawed. Because Willie's a little uppity, but she's flawed enough to where I can, like, she's very humanized still, and she's going through like this really hard time, and she's really ambitious, and I think what was really interesting is like she's seen as she almost is a little bit of a mirror of V, because see how I corrected myself there, because she is like the super ambitious person, you know, she's a reporter and she looks for the truth, but yet she's going through this really difficult time in her life, and she turns away from modern medicine and goes homeopathic to this Chinese doctor. Now, not knocking like homeopathic tendencies for any means, but she has lupus and she's dying, and this doctor told her this is the only thing that can really, like, that's gonna subside that, and she turns away from that. And I think that is like, it's such like a, I don't know, it's so beautiful, and like the like, I'm gonna just go on my own, and I don't care what they say, I'm gonna be a reporter and I'm gonna do it my way, and blah 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 blah, doctors be damned, right? But it's also her being like, I just want to die, because to me that's what that means, is like, if a doctor told me, hey, this medicine is the only thing that's going to save your life, and I purposely don't take it, it means I'm kind of giving up on life. And I think it's so nice that like you see that like the relationship, because she doesn't have a mom or a dad, she doesn't have any family, and her fuck ass boyfriend leaves her, and the two people in the whole world, who one of them is insanely jealous of her but also loves her dearly, and the other one, who's a mother figure to her, is like, no, you're gonna come here. And I just like, and she doesn't fight it. And even though she's like this, like she's portrayed as like this huge fight, Like she constantly is looking for a fight. She's constantly looking to like, do things her own way. And in that moment, she shows so much humility. And I had a lot of respect for her because that's really hard to do, to admit that you're wrong in that way. And to be like, I do need help. I do need people, because the whole time she's like, I don't need help. I'm fine. Don't talk to me. Mm-hmm. And the whole time, and then finally she like gives it, which was such like a good story arc, and I really liked it. I also thought she was a good friend because she was like, Willie, she's like, Willie, get it together. Get your shit together. I was like, yes, please, thank you.
I'm literally dying, yet here I am giving you life advice.
Literally. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did Ash say who her favorite was?
No.
Okay.
I'm still deciding.
Oh, okay.
I think I think my top, okay. I think Clarissa is one of my favorites, and then I think the Running Buds as a group. Because I don't know. It's like, I don't know. I always like side characters too. Also, I think, right, like the main characters, like especially Willie, is just very flawed. Like, there's a lot of times I was like, girl, what are we doing? What are we doing right now? And, or like, right, like how she treats people around her. I was like, no, girl. Like, I know you got your shit going on, but your friend is dying. Like, right, she doesn't need to hear that right now. Or, right, she's being mean to her mom. But, yeah, I think Clarissa and the Running Buds, I don't know. They're just, I like them.
I agree.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Yes, Boss Bam.
Okay. So, if you could pick a soundtrack to accompany this book, what would it be?
I was thinking on this so hard, so I'm very curious on what you guys thought.
Okay, can I say mine first, please?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, ready?
God.
I want the. Okay, I want the. I'm laughing because I think it's so funny, but it's not that funny. Okay. I want the intro to, like, there's like a mysterious monster, right? And, it pans away and it pans to the lake, and then you just hear, ah, 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 ah. And it's the Twilight soundtrack!
No!
No, that's perfect. That's actually perfect.
No!
Yes!
No!
Thank you, Ashley. Thank you. You see my vision.
That's
you see
it.
my vision.
Yes, I do.
Come on! And then Supermassive Black Hole starts playing, like, when they're in the bar. And, yeah, it's great. Instead of playing baseball. So good. Yeah, you get it. Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, Cassidy, what is your soundtrack?
I don't know.
I couldn't think of one. I was like, I don't know, because it's like it's in summer, but it's also like not a very happy story most of the time.
I want it to be summer, but with the blue filter on, like they do in Twilight.
Oh my God.
That would be so good. That would be so good, though.
Or like, I was just thinking, like, if this was a movie, it would be like just a very serious movie with no sound, like that wouldn't really have a soundtrack. You know what I mean?
It'd only have like ominous cellos.
Right.
Right.
That's what I was imagining. So I was like, dang, I don't really have a song. I just have a vibe.
Just kind of like ambient sounds.
Yeah.
Oh, and then we can bring in the New Moon soundtrack. And when she's like holding her little belly because she thinks the lump's there, she goes, "There's a possibility." Yeah, exactly. That'd be so good. That'd be good.
I hate that works.
That's amazing. Or like when at the lunch it's like, I have died every day waiting for
No. I hate everything about this. See, and that's how you know that this book is indeed a drama. If you can put the Twilight soundtrack to it, it's a drama. That's the test.
Yes.
I'm literally crying. Oh my god. That's so funny. I forgot that song was in there. No, that's so hilarious. Thank you, Ashley. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hope I answered your question correctly.
Unfortunately, yes. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. I really thought hard about that.
I appreciate that you put effort into it. It's unfortunate the result you came to, but yeah.
Oh.
Anyway,
You know what would be good for the dinner scene? Because now I'm just thinking of songs. When it's like they're like when she's like, okay, fine, I guess I'll have this dinner. It's like they pan away and it's just them talking, but you can't hear what they're talking about, and it's that piano song. They're like do 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 do.
Oh my god.
With the awkward
Bella's
dinner.
lullaby. Oh my
Yes.
god. That would be so fucking funny. Because there's also he's playing the violin. That'd be perfect.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Or like where's like a like whenever there's a running scene, that's when she gets possessed by the ghost. They're like do do do, and she's like, yeah. Anyway, okay, I'm sorry. We can move on.
oh no.
As if you could outrun me.
Yeah. Say it out loud.
You're a ghost.
You're Elizabeth. Oh man.
Damn it. All right, well, let's redeem this book a little bit now that we've compared it to Twilight. So, let's think big picture. Let's think overarching theme. What do you think is the meaning of the title of the book? Who or what are the monsters it refers to? And what do you think monster means in the context of this book?
Marmaduke Temple.
Men.
Yeah, amen.
Men. That's my answer.
Agreed. No. Agreed. Edward and Jacob are the monsters.
Peter and Ezekiel right there.
Yeah.
Right there. I'm so sorry. I made this comparison. I'm so sorry. Okay, wait. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna put my real serious hat on. This is me putting my serious hat. Okay.
All right.
Okay, because I want to respect your question, boss ma'am.
Thanks.
Yeah, Cass, that is a great question. Exactly, Mika. Exactly. Okay. So, here's what I really do think. Okay, I do think men, for real, because all the men in this book are horrible. But if we're decentering men, as I love to do, because I hate having men in the center of my life. Okay. So if we're decentering them from this conversation, and we're solely talking about the monsters, I'm gonna have to go with the generational trauma that all the women have to go through. Because as we know, generational trauma does, in fact, go through generations. And I think you can really see that through like how the women handle relationships with each other, how the women handle relationships with their significant others, and just general situations. Like they very much like implode and explode, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that like you see V like try to break that with Willie. And she is in some aspects successful, right? Willie leaves Templeton and she goes and does her own thing, but in some aspects she doesn't, because unfortunately, because even though we love our moms, our parents and our moms still do things like that have harmed us, right? True. And some of her actions did harm Willie in her sense of like understanding the world, which V does talk about that later on, because she goes, you know, it's my fault that you think this way about the place that you came from, right? Because she was constantly like, you need to go do this and go do that, and she didn't take time to like let her appreciate that, and it made her have this complex about herself and about where she came from. And then when she had to go back where she came from because she had nowhere else to go, and she chose to do that, then she found herself like confronting that about herself. And that's honestly what I think is the monsters is on just the gender. Yeah, that's what I think.
I see it. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Ashley?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, piggybacking off of Kylie, I was gonna say, like, mental illness, you know, and, like, also, I think just, even with Willie too, and, like, it's kind of, like, almost like denial of mental illness, like, you kinda go through it's like all the women recognize that, "Okay, I'm seeing things, okay, I'm hearing things," but I don't think with the exception of Sarah, I don't think any of the women talk about it outside of their letters or outside of their personal journals. Um,
True.
so and then, like, same with kind of V and Willie, like, V kind of she's like, "Well, it might be, you might be a little cray-cray," and then but that's kind of as far as that conversation goes, so I think that's also, like, a monster within the women of their family of, like,
True.
"Okay, this is just an unspoken thing that, like, we all see and hear things, we're all a little cray-cray," and it's like, "Oh, well, we can maybe unpack that. It's okay to talk about it. We don't have to stuff our pockets with rocks and walk into the lake," We can
Oh God.
we
Yeah.
can talk about it, like, or it's not just "Oh, I'm just a silly lady," and it's like, "No, no."
Honestly,
Um
oh Ash, you know what? That is such an amazing point because hold on. Hold on. Can I make a connection really fast?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So Ashley, literally, you just reminded me. Okay, so you're like, okay, mental illness, right? We could talk about it instead of killing ourselves or like being homicidal or, cutting off
Right.
people or killing our husbands, right? But you know what else people don't also talk about in this goddamn book? The ghosts and the monsters.
Yeah.
They don't talk about the monsters and they didn't talk about their mental health.
Because I
True.
think they coincide. They think
Mhm.
because it's always the women that see it,
Yep.
and they're also like, "Well, I'm crazy, so
Yep. And the only
I'm gonna
time
keep
they
that
had
to
to
myself."
go ahead, sorry.
No, I was just saying, like, and I'm gonna keep that to myself because
Yeah.
it's like I can't it's like either and especially for the women, like the ancestors, it's like it's either bottle that up or I'm getting sent away, and I
Yeah.
don't wanna be sent away.
Mm.
So
Literally.
like, I can't tell people I saw a monster, or I can't tell people that I see ghosts, or, like, they don't like, I think Sarah, she didn't think they were ghosts, like, I think she was like, "No, this is the people in my brain." Like, she was like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
she didn't think they were ghosts, like, she was like, "No, this my brain is doing this."
Yep.
Yeah, that was a really, like her journal was very interesting to me. Um And also very sad. It's kinda like, I couldn't imagine where she was like, "All my" or the other girl, Charlotte, she's like or Cinnamon, she's like, "All my husbands, they all stare at me. All my dead husbands, they're always with me and
Yeah.
staring at me." I'm like, "That is horrible.
Yep.
That is horrifying." Like, and it's just kind of like a peek into mental health of, like, the side of mental health that,
Well, she also
um
killed them.
Huh.
that is true.
She
Yeah,
also killed those
Well, that
motherfuckers.
kind of touches on
did.
my opinion of the ghosts or the monsters, um, which is a little bit of it's the ghost of our past, right? Like
True. Mhm.
it's the guilt and the grief that sticks with you from those events that they've gone through. And it's like the ghosts of their past that they can't fully escape, which I think I said it at the beginning of all this, but I think there's like this big picture theme of like colonialism, because that's where that all starts with Marmaduke, that he comes over and sees this beautiful land, and this white man is like, "It's mine."
Yeah.
Yes.
But there's like literally people living there and inhabiting it already. And he kind of like, "Oh, shoo shoo, you don't exist. Stay over here." Which is just, which is, and so that will always be the history of Templeton, is this tragic past of like oppressors and wrongdoings and stealing and pillaging, and so that will always be the roots of Templeton, and you can never fully escape it. And I think that's like the ghosts and the monsters. It's the perpetual grief of that you can't escape it, which is also, you know, like kind of that's the United States. That's the history that this country is born on, and you can never really fully escape it.
So true. And the only time they had to face it was when that monster surfaced. So everything fell apart. They had to finally face like their grief and their trauma and their bad family history.
Where it all stems from. That monster seen it all. Brought everything to the surface. Whoa.
Period.
Like the surface of the lake.
Period. Period. Speak your truth. Keep going. Go off, Queen. Go off.
That I'm gonna peak there, I think.
Oh, period. Keep it wanting
more. Yeah. So one more little just final wrap up here. Speaking on the epilogue, the story ends with a death and a birth of the monster, but also maybe everything that monster represents that we just talked about. And so what do you think that means in the larger context of the book? Who or what else do you think is born or reborn throughout this book?
Oh. A lot of fucking people.
Yeah.
Well, there's V, who is a born-again Christian.
Literally.
I think Willie also goes through that. And I think also the lump, because the lump is not there.
It's true.
Yeah.
And she kind of births it in a way, because she has like these intense cramps, which it could be Braxton Hicks, and then she has like really rough menstruation. So I'm like, that's also a type of birth. It's a loss. Because people give birth to babies who are passed away, you know, all the time. And they mourn them, and they still mourn those like babies and things like that. Trying to think if there's a lot of people who that would apply to.
Kind of like everyone.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of someone who it doesn't, but
like obviously Willie. But then also just everyone's kind of born again by Willie revisiting all of their pasts and their stories. It brings it back.
Yeah.
I think it's like that analogy you said earlier of like whenever the monster died, it's like Templeton kind of died, and then when they kind of came out with like, oh, there was already a birth of a new monster, like in the article it's like, oh, there's evidence that this monster has given birth before. It's kind of like new life came into Templeton when that, you know, it's like everybody. Like I feel like that was kind of like an overarching thing. It's like that kind of like to kind of make sense of like, like all the running buds, like literally everything went downhill for them, and then, you know, started getting better. Same with Willie. Same with Clarissa too. Like she's back on good medicine. She's in a good stable place. Same with V. Like she had that rocky relationship with Reverend Milky. I don't remember
Reverend Milky.
And then they reconciled, and he had some growth too of being, you know, more understanding. I would say Zeke a little.
True. He made himself better, but did he really learn anything?
No,
he's still trying to get after Willie. It's not for himself, it's to whatever.
How about you go be a fucking dad, Zeke? How about you go follow your own dad?
He was literally gonna follow her to California.
What about your
And then
children?
and yeah, she's like, your kids. And he goes, yeah, well, life. Fuck you, dude.
The moral of the
Okay.
story is nobody likes Zeke.
Yeah. Okay, wait. I do have a question. I have a question.
Yeah.
Since we're wrapping up, so I learned why you did not give this 5 stars, Cass. Ashley, did you say why you didn't give this 5 stars? Did you say why you gave your rating?
I think from what I said, so I didn't give it because for me, especially at the beginning, there was a lot of slow parts where I was kind of like, okay, how is this connecting? Like, I was losing a little interest, but then it came back.
Okay, gotcha.
I think, yeah, also just and kind of like why I didn't really have a favorite character. It's like it was kind of hard for a lot of the book to like any of the characters for me personally. Like most of the time, I didn't like Willie. Just purely on the interaction she had with others. I was like, you're not nice. And then, like, yeah, just all the characters I had, especially towards the beginning, I was like, I don't like any of you except for some of the running buds. There's some good guys there. Good group of guys. Well, except for like what was it? Like one of them cheated on his wife and is gonna go to prison, but hey, he's gonna go to jail, so that's okay. But
Yes.
yeah, that guy. But all the rest of them are fine. But yeah, so that's why I gave it a little bit of a low rating. But also same with Kylie, it's like I wanted to see a little bit more of the monster. I thought we were gonna kind of get more like what are the ghost thing. Yes, all those. But I did enjoy the book and I would recommend it. But yes.
Thank you for clarifying. I just want to make sure I didn't miss it.
And I think my rating will stay the same.
Yeah.
Mine does too.
Me too. Wait, did I give it the highest rating? I did.
You did.
Wow. I'm very easy to please though. I think this is the first book I didn't give a 5-star review.
This is also true.
Yeah.
So true. So true. I would say critically wise, I'm the least critical and Cass is the most critical.
What?
I don't agree. I feel like I'm the least critical. I'm always like, yeah, whatever you guys say.
Actually, okay, how many 5 stars have you given books?
All of them except for this one. I'm pretty sure.
Right.
Really?
I think so.
So just kidding. I'm so sorry, Ashley, that I would group you into that middle ground. I'm so sorry. Let me rephrase. Cassidy is the most judgmental, and Ashley and I are very chill about our books, apparently.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. All right.
I would say,
but who has the gold star?
You got me there. You got me there, gang.
Yeah, it's like because me and Kylie are guilty that we had to speed read the books. That's why.
I think I've also yet
we didn't have time to critically think about them.
I have not given any book we've read in this book club 5 stars. I gave The House in the Cerulean Sea 4.5.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I think that was your highest.
I think I gave that. I don't think I gave that one a 5-star either. I wish I wrote this down. We need to keep records.
Wait,
I have records. Wait,
we can look back in the VOD right now.
I have a little notebook.
Oh,
I also have Storygraph where I rate all of them. Hold on.
Whoa.
Oh wow. I don't do none of that shit.
It is fun.
I'm just saving my 5 stars. You know? I feel like there's one out there. There's one out there.
That's so fair. And it's not like 5 stars we hate. Just saying this for the general public. Us not giving something 5 stars does not mean we don't like hate the book.
I hated it. It wasn't not perfect.
It just means that, we just think critically and And I would say that for me personally, speaking for just myself, I'm a person that just is la-di-da-di-da, about giving out ratings unless I really fucking hate you,
Yeah. I was like, dude, I feel good after this book. Yes, 5 stars.
Literally me! Literally me! Oh my god. Did I smile? Yes, 5 stars.
You probably also, when there were like surveys over presenters or stuff to fill out, it's like Strongly agree, strongly agree, strongly agree. Yes, you were
Yep.
great, 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 great.
Yep. Why did you like this? Everything. That's
Nah,
why
no,
I
I'll
like
be
it.
honest to them. I'll be like, no, I think your presentation was boring. 3 stars.
Oh my gosh.
Well,
Oh
it's
my
honest.
gosh.
They're looking for feedback. Like, they're not going to be able to make it better if they don't
Wow.
get it.
So Cass is the certified hater.
Wow.
That's why Cass has a star right now.
Oh my God, I'm not a certified hater. I just believe people are capable of more.
Period.
Period.
Mm-mm. Not a hater, I'm a believer.
Heard. And I'm a
Thank you.
believer. Hey. Not a trace.
Not a trace down in my mind.
I'm in love.
Oh, man.
Okay, wait, before we get too distracted.
Okay.
Anything else about this book before I announce our next month's book and la di da da?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
All right.
It's a ghost of my past now.
Heard. Okay, I'll announce our next month's book then. That concludes book club for today, though. We are gonna play some Palia. Did I say that right? Palia.
It's Palia.
Palia.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna play some Palia with the buds. So if you want to stick around for some coziness, feel free. Hi, Eldis. Good to see you, friend. But our book club book for next month is Spooky Month. So we're writing a spooky book. It was my pick. And so I picked the book, Never Whistle at Night, which is an indigenous dark fiction anthology. And it's a collection of stories. And I'm going to give you a little rundown. So it says, many indigenous people believe that one should never whistle at night. This belief takes many forms. For instance, Native Hawaiians believes it summons Hakaipo, the spirits of ancient warriors, and Native Mexicans say it calls Luchuza. I hope I said Lechuza. I can't say any of these words. This is going to be horrible. A witch that can transform into an owl. But what all of these legends hold is common in the certainty that whistling at night can cause evil spirits to appear and even follow you home. These wholly original and shiver-inducing tales introduce readers to ghosts, curses, hauntings, monstrous creatures, complex family legacies, desperate deeds, and chilling acts of revenge. These stories are a celebration of indigenous people's survival and imagination and a glorious reliving in all the things an ill-advised whistle might summon. So there you go.
Ooh.
So I did look at the reviews for this, so before you guys run and grab it, just to let you know, it does have lots of horror themes, and also, thank you, Kenzo, and also, it spans from being a little spooky to being very scary from the reviews.
Oh.
So it has a range, just so everyone knows. Knows.
Oh
I know.
no!
I was
What
trying
have you
to-
done?
So what you're saying is have a happy show ready to go.
Yes.
After you read. Okay.
Yes, please do.
Never
Have a
read at
romance
night.
book ready to go.
So yeah, I'm excited. It's gonna be in October next month.
Maybe.
Maybe. Well,
No.
We'll see. Yeah, we do have our trip, so actually we'll be in person for a little bit of that time. So that's exciting. We'll see who's
Whoa.
further in the book at that point. It's gonna be
Let's
me.
take bets in the chat right now.
It's gonna be me.
Oh, it's gonna be me.
Oh.
Who's?
period.
I'm
We'll
gonna
see.
start.
We'll see about that.
Sweet. Okay, well, thank you everyone for hanging out. If you were coming to do book club and want to skedaddle, feel free. We are going to play some cozy games after, but we're going to take a little break.
Kenzo says Kylie's already read it.
Period.
Like the house in the Cerulean Sea.
No! Don't call me out. No. If I do that again, I'm getting whoever does that is getting a frowny face. If any one of us does that again, I'm giving you a frowny face sticker.
Frowny face sticker. Well, we'll see.
Or it's okay. Oh, that reminds me.
November's book also is already picked out, which it's in the Discord. If you're not in the Discord, feel free to come into the Discord. But November's book is the sequel to House of Cerulean Sea. So if you have not read House on Cerulean Sea and you want to be a part of November's book club, I suggest reading both of those very soon. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now we're gonna take a little break. We're gonna take like a, I don't know, 5-10 minute break. I don't know.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Goodbye, everybody. We'll see you in a moment. Goodbye, goodbye. Goodbye, goodbye.